Someone disrespects you, and in that split second, your body betrays you. Your heart rate spikes, your chest tightens. Heat climbs up your spine like a warning flare. Your mind rushes to defend your pride, your identity, your status. And right there, right in that tiny window, you stand at the crossroads of your destiny. Most modern men fail in this exact moment. They react, they shout, they over-explain. They fire back with a comment fueled by fragile rage. And when you do that, you hand the keys of your mental fortress to your opponent. You just told the world, "My inner peace is cheap. Press the right button, and I'm yours." So listen carefully, because this is not about winning an argument. This is about never losing your self-sovereignty. In Stoic philosophy, disrespect is not a malicious event to fear. It's data, it's information. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who commanded legions but still faced betrayal, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And that's the point. A grown man under pressure doesn't need more noise. He needs stability. Stay to the end, because the third mistake is the one that destroys reputations quietly without you even noticing it happening. Now, imagine this. You're in a glass-walled boardroom in Toronto or a high-stakes meeting in Vancouver. You've spent months perfecting a project, and then a colleague smiling credits themselves for your work. Or worse, they dismiss your effort as insignificant in front of people who decide your future. Or maybe your world is digital. You post something you poured your soul into, and some anonymous critic writes a vitriolic insult under it. Same trigger, different stage. Your instinct wants to fix it with speed, but speed is the trap. Here are 5 things you must never do when disrespected. 5 forbidden behaviors that separate the weak from the unshakable. First, never react instantly. When someone throws a verbal insult at you, it's like they're throwing a hot coal. If you instinctively grab it to throw it back, you're the first one burned. Your ancient survival brain, your amygdala, screams at you to save face, strike back, restore status. But in the modern world, especially in professional environments and online spaces, a quick reaction is not strength. It's exposure. Reaction is vulnerability revealed. It's you giving them a map to your insecurities. Think about this. If a snide comment about your finances makes you explode, you just told them you're insecure about money. If a critique of your parenting, your lifestyle, your intelligence, whatever it is, keeps you awake at night, it means you haven't found peace with your own choices. And that's exactly what disrespect is trying to steal, your internal peace. The Stoic practice is what I call the Stoic pause. Between stimulus and response, there is a sacred space. In that space lies your freedom. That space is the difference between a controlled man and a controlled puppet. There's a historical example. A man once struck the philosopher Cato in public. Cato did not strike back. He did not even show anger. He simply ignored it and continued his conversation as if the attacker were an irrelevant insect. His silence was more terrifying than a punch. Because silence, when earned, communicates one message: your influence is not great enough to even ripple the surface of my waters. That's what you want. Let them face your stillness. That is when they realize they just tried to move a mountain with a pebble. Second, never over-explain yourself. There is a desperate urge inside most people when they are misunderstood, the urge to justify. You don't understand. The reason I did that was, actually, I'm highly qualified. Let me list my credentials. Stop. Immediately. In the realm of digital stoicism, especially online, writing 3 paragraphs to explain your value to a stranger is not maturity, it is surrender. Because when you over-explain, you unknowingly acknowledge the other person's right to be your judge. You put them on the bench, and you put yourself on the witness stand, begging for validation. Seneca made it clear, a person who knows their own value does not feel the need to defend it endlessly. A strong man doesn't negotiate his identity with strangers. Look at a seasoned leader, a CEO type. When a junior employee questions their vision with disrespect, they don't scramble to prove their worth. They don't do verbal gymnastics. They keep it simple. Because the moment you start trying to convince someone who came to misunderstand you, you're playing their game. And their game is not truth, it's control. So if someone is genuinely confused and asking in good faith, clarify. But if someone disrespects you and you respond with a resume, you just lost. Now here comes the silent killer. This is the mistake almost nobody understands until it's too late. Third, never confuse silence with cowardice. Some men learn silence and then use it like a hiding place. They let people cross boundaries and call it being the bigger person. But that's not stoicism. That's fear wearing a suit. Real stoicism is not letting people walk over you. Real stoicism is choosing the correct action without losing your composure. It means you do not react impulsively, but you also do not abandon your standards. Because here is the truth. If you allow disrespect to become a habit in your life, people will treat you accordingly, and you will slowly train the world that you are a man whose boundaries are negotiable. So what do you do instead? If a boundary is crossed, you address it calmly, directly, and once. No yelling, no dramatic speeches, no emotional courtroom, just precision. For example, if someone steals credit for your work, you don't explode, you don't rant, you don't beg. You say something like, "That's the last time my contribution goes uncredited. We adjust the protocol going forward," or we stop. Then you stop talking. This is why number 3 destroys reputations quietly. Because weak men either explode or they swallow it forever. Exploding makes you look unstable. Swallowing it makes you look weak. The strong man sets a boundary and stays calm. He's not loud, he's not emotional, he's final. 4th, never recruit a crowd. When you feel disrespected, your ego wants witnesses. It wants validation through numbers. It wants the group chat, the gossip, the indirect posts, the subtweets, the coalition. But that's dependence. It's you saying, "I need other people to confirm I'm worthy." Real power doesn't need an audience. Here's the mindset. If it's worth addressing, you address it directly and privately. If it's not worth addressing, you walk away and never look back. But you do not drag your integrity through a public circus to feel supported, because the crowd doesn't fix a weak frame. It only hides it for a moment. And in the professional world, recruiting a crowd often backfires. It makes you look insecure. It makes you look political. It makes you look like someone who can't handle conflict with clarity. And people remember that. They remember who needs the crowd. 5th, never match their low frequency. If they're petty and you become petty, you didn't win, you got infected. If they're rude and you become rude, you didn't defend yourself, you lowered your standards. Disrespect wants to drag you down into the mud because that's where weak people feel comfortable. If you join them there, you gave them what they wanted. Control. Your standards are not conditional. That's the whole point. Consistency is what builds respect. Losing your frame destroys it. So don't get infected. Now let's tie it all together. Disrespect is not an attack you must fear. It is information. It reveals who is ruled by impulse and who is ruled by reason. Every time you choose the stoic pause instead of the reaction, clarity instead of over-explanation, boundaries instead of cowardice, directness instead of crowds, and standards instead of infection, you become the rare man who cannot be baited. And once people realize they can't bait you, they stop trying to control you. If you want more scripts like this: quiet power, hard boundaries, unshakable mindset, follow this channel. And go to the next video on your screen, how to set boundaries without raising your voice. That's where this stops being an idea and becomes a skill.